or bigger, or bigger. Or bigger. This city is called Vienna, my voice is called Red, the specific architect is called Wagner, Otto Wagner, born on July 13, 1841, died on April 11, 1918. Some life forms are mobile, some are not. Bacteria are mobile, ants are mobile, humans are mobile. But flowers are not mobile, trees are not mobile, and cities are not mobile at all. Otto Wagner lived for 28,025 days. He reached the middle of his life on November 29 of the year 1879. His important and interesting architecture was built after that day. On the 1st of January 1900 he was 167 days after his 58th birthday. Otto Wagner never got 77 years old. There are more than 2 million people moving within the city of Vienna, and there are a lot more cells moving within the human body. All faces lose their individual significance within the city. The face of the city gets constructed by the sum of its components. People with power can get a stronger influence on the structure of the city, but the city is the stronger life form. The connections between the isolated human cells define the network for the flow of impulses, objects and energies. Otto Wagner was only one of these isolated individuals. Flow of impulses, objects and energies. Otto Wagner was only one of these isolated individuals, but he was one of those who got the chance and position to have more influence on the development, growth, structure and face of the social phenomena called city. This example of a city is called Vienna. There are other examples and other people who had also a strong influence on its development, but we took Otto Wagner as our hook. And he was a man with a mission. That makes him a good hook. As an architect you are moving in a tight space, as you are working for the people with the power and the money, as you are selling yourself a lot to them, as you get a slave of these circumstances, as you are still turning into a dictator, as you define what millions of other people will have to see, for many years, for hundreds of years sometimes, as you define what they will see, when they move and look within the city, as you force them to feel the space that you create. The individuals do not matter if you build public. You force them to feel the space that you create. The individuals do not matter if you build public buildings for a city. The individuals get cells that move within a life form, numbers that move in this specific time and space, defined by the city. But because we are humans, we feel about our city also as if this city would be our own individual space, our home, the place that we might call Heimat. Well, that is the German word that Red cannot translate into English, but you know the feeling somehow, if you remember where you get if you click your heels. Yes, Heimat is like Kansas. A life form like Vienna might feel like Kansas, but it has a different face. Otto Wagner had a strong impact with his concept for style and public and social design on the face of Vienna. At his time a lot of people wanted to make the world better, but the randomly defined structure for measuring time also gave them the transition from one century into another. That is a virtual highlight within the endless carpet of time. The human hearts create actual reactions, and those reactions accumulate in social tendencies. So the randomly defined turn of a century helped to create a good climate for those who want to change the conditions of the moment. Architecture is a part of the conditions of a specific moment, and Otto Wagner had specific ideas about his direction of change, so he had specific ideas for his mission. It is only possible to estimate the number of people who had moved around, through, along or within the spaces that he designed. As an artist he defined these spaces as his artwork. His artwork is embedded in a life form called Vienna. He was a part of this city, here he was born, here he lived, and here in Vienna he died and faded away. His work was growing as a part of the city, and when he got the position to make a strong and drastic mark within this space, he made it in the conscious and obsessed manner of an artist. And artists have their own individual ideas of orders and structures. Otto Wagner got a big piece of canvas to work on, and for a lot of people he was also working on their canvas. So my voice is called Red, and I have no face like millions of others here in Vienna, Kansas, canvas, playground and life form. Vienna does not move, but like a tree it grows and gets older. The life of Otto Wagner defined some significant structures for transportation, social interaction and the flow of information. His influence on interfaces and intersections within the network of the organism is culturally defining. He is not the only one who did and still does that, even as a dead man, but as randomly as the year 1900 was a climax for many people who lived at that time, as randomly as my voice got chosen and called Red, as randomly as Otto Wagner was chosen for this reflection on a life form called Vienna, yes, as randomly as all this, most other things are too. Like the effects on the viewers of a reflection on a segment of Central European culture, executed more than 80 years after the death of Otto Wagner. He did not get 80 years old, but life and death are the same, if you see the cells within the body as a part of a bigger life form. A person is a part of her or his environment, and a person's work is a part of the environment, the context, the circumstances and stuff like that. People never exist individually. Artwork is never complete if you only look directly at the work. Architecture is a part of the landscape, and the landscape is another life form. I think it is global or bigger.